For the longest time, if a corporation committed a crime, holding the actual company accountable was, well, nearly impossible. But that is all changing. Today, we're going to dive into a massive legal shift that is completely rewriting the rules of corporate crime and what it means for everyone, from the boardroom all the way down to you and me. It really all boils down to this one question. It sounds so simple, right? But it has stumped lawyers for centuries. Can a company, which, let's be honest, isn't a person, actually be guilty of a crime? The way we're starting to answer that question is totally reshaping how businesses operate and how they're held accountable. All right, first up, we need to unravel a real legal puzzle. When a crime is committed inside a giant company, who or what is really to blame? This is the heart of what we call the corporate conundrum.
The legal tool at the center of all this is something called corporate criminal liability. Basically, it's the doctrine that lets the law say, yes, the company itself is responsible. It's not just about one rogue employee. It's about the culture that let it happen in the first place. And trust me, this concept is the key to unlocking everything else we're going to talk about.
Okay, so to really get what's new, we've got to look back at how things used to work. For a long, long time, the legal system followed a set of rules that were, frankly, just full of holes. I mean, think about it. Under the old system, prosecutors faced this massive uphill battle. How do you prove a company, a thing on paper without a mind of its own, actually intended to commit a crime? It was next to impossible. So what happened? The blame would fall on individual, often lower-level employees, while the corporate culture that created the problem got a free pass. And with all these complex legal loopholes and slap-on-the-wrist fines, the system just didn't have any real bite. So yeah, it became crystal clear that this reactive, loophole-filled approach just wasn't cutting it. It wasn't protecting the public, and it definitely wasn't deterring bad behavior. Something fundamental had to shift. And that shift brings us to what's happening now. We call it a new paradigm. And I want to be super clear here. This is not just some minor tweak to the law. It's a complete top-to-bottom rethinking of what corporate accountability even means. And when you put the two approaches side by side, the difference is, wow, it's stark. We're moving away from just blaming individuals and shifting the focus to the entire corporate culture. Instead of just reacting with punishment after the fact, the new paradigm demands proactive prevention. That tangled mess of burden of proof is being replaced by a much, much clearer line of accountability. So you might be wondering, how does this new paradigm actually work? Well, it's really built on 4 key pillars. First, companies now have to put proactive programs in place to stop wrongdoing before it even starts. Second, leadership. We're talking the executives at the very top are being held directly accountable. Third, the penalties are way more structured and predictable. And finally, the system is now set up to encourage companies to find and report their own problems. And really, this quote on the screen just says it all. The big takeaway here is massive. This isn't just another law on the books. It's a philosophical evolution. It's the law itself saying that a company is more than just a profit machine. It has a fundamental responsibility to operate ethically from the very, very top. Okay, this all sounds really fascinating from a legal perspective, right? But what does it actually mean for us in the real world? Why does this new approach to corporate crime actually matter to all of us? And this chart, this shows you the most profound change in a single picture. In the old system, see, the blame would almost always stop at the bottom rungs of the corporate ladder. Now, accountability is climbing all the way to the top, reaching senior leadership and the corporation as a whole. It's a total game changer. So the real-world impact is huge. By focusing on culture, it actually encourages companies to behave more ethically from the get-go. It offers way better protection for all of us as consumers and investors. It creates a legal system that's fairer and more predictable for everyone. And when you put all that together, it works to build greater trust in the entire marketplace. So we're at a pivotal moment. The new rules are in place, backed by a whole new philosophy. But the real test is just beginning. Will this new chapter truly redefine corporate accountability for good? That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? And I guess only time will provide the final answer.